This is G.Wiz, the time traveler, traveling at the speed of sound on KDHX 881. You know the group, the Manhattans? They will be celebrating their 60th anniversary. 60 years of music. They still doing their thing. And I've seen them a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago when they was here in St. Louis. And I found Gerald Alston. And he said, yeah, I would talk to the time travelers, what they want to know. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gerald Alston of the Manhattans. How you doing, Mr. Alston?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I want to make one little correction. It's
Okay.
59 years
59
instead
years.
of 60.
Okay. We won't
59.
push it. We won't push it. We'll take it as
Yeah.
it comes. I
I
was
know what you
told.
mean.
It's
No,
like,
but you're dead on it.
oh,
You're dead on it. But you know what? In actuality, the guys were singing before then. So if they were all here, they would probably say, yeah, you're right with 60 years. Because they
mhm,
sang together in school and before they went into the service. They
yeah.
just turned professional in 62. So
Okay.
it would, if you really want to look at 60, you probably got 60.
Oh, okay. Okay. We gonna go with your words though. Okay. Because you're
All
Manhattan.
right.
I'm I'm not even from Jersey. Speaking of Jersey City, tell the people because they get the city of Manhattan confused with the name as if the name came from that city. And y'all not even from New York. Y'all from Jersey,
Right.
correct?
What actually happened, the group was originally named after the drink, the Manhattan cocktail. And our logo was um, cross canes, white glove, and top hat. And after we started singing and got through that era where everybody would like to drink and have a good time and party, we decided that that wasn't a good image to portray to our fans and to the younger people who'll be watching, that we want to, be looked up to. So the kids look up to us. So we changed it to Manhattan, meaning the skyline, using the skyline of New York as our logo.
Okay.
And that's how we came with it. The Jersey Cityans wouldn't work.
Okay. Because that's the same area. Y'all went to school with what? Cool in the Gang? Some of them remember Ronald
Yeah,
Bell? And yeah. Okay.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So the Manhattans pattern themselves after like the Motown Temptations at first, but it didn't quite fit what you was trying to do, correct? Because you was more into ballads.
Yeah. Well, actually, if I remember we had an interview years ago, and we all had different groups of the era before us that we liked, and the Temptations was the one that led the pack out of all the groups. Temptations, Gladys Knight and the Pips, the Dells,
Mm-hmm.
crazy about those artists. And so what we wanted, we wanted to have our own thing, and yet the Motown sound was what was happening then. But we wanted to make our own sound. Um, I guess building off the Motown sound, and that's how we came up with our own thing here. And when I started singing with the group, I came from North Carolina,
Right.
and I was singing gospel.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought my gospel right on with me with the Manhattans, and that's actually what changed the whole sound of
Okay.
the group.
Okay. So it was that There's No Me Without You single that kind of was the Manhattan's pattern, correct?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
And we had really actually we kind of found our niche in 1970 on my first album, A Million to One. We had a song called One Life to Live
Mm-hmm.
and A Million to One, and that's where I found myself. And the group found, I found my place in the group, and that's where we took off from. From there, and then There's No Me Without You was icing on the cake, and the rest was history.
So it's true that the Manhattans was once the opening act for Otis Redding.
Yes, and not only that, Otis Redding, prior to his death, out to sign the Manhattans as his act. He was going to manage the group,
Okay.
and unfortunately, he was in that accident and never happened. And I never got a chance to meet Otis, but they did, and he loved them. You know, he invited him down his home in Macon, and so when he just as he was getting ready to sign them, it was unfortunate that his plane crashed.
So you also had the Manhattan's Roll Band. I'm just running through some of the people that came out of this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the drummer for the Roll Band was ended up with his own group, Fat Larry's Band, correct?
Yeah, Larry, that's right. And Larry used to play double drum, bass drums, and he was awesome.
Wow.
Larry was awesome. He played double bass, and he was, it was then. It was we only had three musicians. It was Larry, Kenny Nash, and a guy named Charles Reed. And the three of them guys sound like we had 5 or 6 pieces.
Wow.
They could work it. Yes.
Okay, let's move to Kiss and Say Goodbye, which is like the Manhattan's signature song. It was 1976, #1 on the soul charts, Billboard Hot 100, and they said it became the second single in music history
Mm-hmm.
after Johnny Taylor's Disco Lady to be certified platinum.
That's right.
Huh.
That's right.
That one
And
there got me because I'm like, okay, I know at that time gold was 1 million copies.
yeah,
That changed later. Yeah. So it was actually 2 million sales.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
That is something. So, but the song, Kiss and Say Goodbye wasn't actually written for the Manhattans, was it?
No,
Okay. Who was it written
it
for?
was written for a country artist. Who did Blue write that song for? I know he mentioned Mac Davis once, and it was another country artist.
Glenn Campbell,
Yes, yes, yes,
Charlie Pride.
yes. In that era. And I'm gonna take you a few steps back. What you heard on Kiss and Say Goodbye, my vocal was a scratch, and the backgrounds had not been completed. That song sat in the can for 18 months, and then finally, CBS Records, which is now Sony, said, we're going to release it. And we said, oh my God, they're going to destroy us. They released that song and it never looked back. And it proved a point to all of us that songs aren't perfectly recorded. If your song is perfectly recorded, that's unreal to me. When you have mistakes, it don't have to be major mistakes, but when you have things like your voice may crack, or like I did the scratch vocal, and the reason it worked is because when we did the scratch vocal for Kiss and Say Goodbye, I wasn't thinking about recording. I wasn't thinking about what I was going to do. I just walked in and sang the song so that we could put the backgrounds on. And to me, it wasn't my best vocal. And then the guys came in and put their vocals on, background vocals on. And there were some parts we needed to clear up, and we didn't. But it goes to show you that the emotion and the feelings that we had on that song overpowered those little things that we were looking for in perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell a lot of artists, I would like to say to a lot of artists today who like to fine tune their music to be exactly perfect. And it's good with the machines and things that we're doing now, the way we record now. But when you got musicians,
mm-hmm.
you feel every musician.
Yes.
I remember on that day we recorded "Kiss and Say Goodbye." It was Bobby Eli, Norman Harris,
Mm-hmm.
Earl Young was on drums. What's his name? Larry Washington was on congas. you know, Ron Kersey was on piano.
Mm-hmm.
And these people I remember, you know, and they were playing a song with such feeling. It you know, and the little flubs and flukes that you might have heard, it didn't matter because the
The
feeling was
feeling.
there. And
Mm-hmm.
when we came in to sing it, we let it go with that, just with those feelings. Even though we wouldn't scratch, I was putting my scratch on, and the guys had something to clear up. But it shows that emotion and feelings in recording a song, in a lot of cases, is more important than the minor mistakes that you
Mm-hmm.
may hear that you want to make perfect.
That was that Philly soul,
Yes.
huh?
And the producer, Bobby Martin, and Bobby had, and I learned one thing, that's one of the first things I learned from Bobby. When you sing with emotion and feeling and from the heart, and you get a good track vocal, he don't let you mess with it. I did
Mm-hmm.
um, Everybody Has a Dream. And I remember recording it and my voice broke in one spot. And I said, Bobby, I got to do it again. He said, no, you're not. We're not going to touch it. He said, because you would never, ever, ever have that exact same emotion again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he left it like it was.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and right now, the response to that song, when we sing it, is awesome.
Mm-hmm. So you had that song had two versions. You had the because the you had for the pop stations you had to take off the rap or the talking at the
Exactly.
beginning.
Right.
But then
They, you know, it's funny. Eventually, I think they started playing it. But at first, when it first started crossing over, rap on the beginning.
hmm.
And so, but it still
But
sold 2 million, but I take it.
yeah, but what I didn't understand is why did they release Columbia released a promotional X-rated version of Kiss and Say Goodbye and I Kind
I,
of Miss You.
I,
I
knew,
never understood that.
I, know you, I know you were coming with that.
You don't have to
But
answer.
you
I
know
was
what
just
happened?
curious. I'm like, why did they do that?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. We were in the studio, and Blue was just playing around, and he was listening. He was just listening to it so he could get his words together. And all of a sudden, Blue said he started going X-rated, and Kenny Presence hit the button and recorded. And
Oh man.
then after we finished the record, and he had done the clean version, we sent to the only to promotion people and radio people because we know you couldn't play it on radio.
Mm-hmm.
But we just sent it to them as something to kind of give them a kick in the pants to let them know that we weren't stiff neck, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And we got a lot of response to that. A lot of response of people enjoyed it, they liked it, but we naturally we never was wanted it to be played on radio.
They, I'm sure they
Both songs.
used to. I'm sure they used to play it at the Dolomite parties. Put it
Oh
like
yes, yeah.
that.
I've been in places where they played the X-rated version.
Wow. Do you cringe or do you like oh
You know,
dag,
it's
that's
so
us.
funny because when when people hear it back then when they heard it, it was like funny because
Mm-hmm.
um, there was no sincerity in it,
Yeah.
but it was he did it jokingly,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so a lot of people fall out laughing. Honestly, I've never heard anybody say that have any negative thing to say about that X-rated version.
Me either. Me either. Really. Seriously.
Never.
What made you redo the way we were that Barbara Streisand and Gladys Knight did? I mean, why was
Gladys
it,
Knight.
Gladys Knight
Gladys Knight.
one of your favorites?
Gladys. Yes, yes. That lady can sing. She can sing the funny book. She can get a Superman book and sing all the words to it, and it'd be all right with me.
Wow.
She's that. She has. I've never heard anybody. I've heard ladies, even to this present day. She's her own. We
Mm.
worked with her a couple of years ago, and she came out and she tore it up. She sang in a part in the show. She sang "Purple Rain."
Wow.
And she sang Purple Rain, Gladys way. And the house went up in smoke.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she did. And everything she makes, she sings, whether it's a remake or her own, it's hers. She take it and make it hers. And when she sang The Way We Were, you know, she touched me. And that's what I felt. And I felt like I could do it my way. And I did.
Wow.
But she's the reason that I wanted to record that song. Eddie Levert, these are the people I met when I started singing. Marvin Jr., the Dells. Now, he was icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Levi Stubbs, you know, Marvin Gaye. All these people I worked with. And I respected them. I looked up to them. And whenever I performed with them, I did not go on stage to outdo them.
Right, right.
I went on stage to do what I do best.
Right.
But they gave me that inspiration. And Marvin Jr., when I come off stage, used to catch me, him and Johnny Carter. If they saw something wrong, they'll pull me to say, what was wrong with you, boy? You know, that was Johnny Carter. Man, what was wrong with you? Why are you messing up like that? This the way it should be done. That way it should be done. And they were right. And they would, my personality on stage, if it didn't look right to them, they would not hesitate to call me in their dressing room and say, look, we need to talk to you. And the guys would do it too, but the Dells were like outside and they became family because we got their relationship that they could tell us anything, any criticism, and it worked. You know, they criticized, they would give criticism for helpful reasons and not to make you look bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes they told you to it a little comical or rough, but they meant well. They meant well.
So in 1980, when Shining Star went gold, you was the only one that liked that song. Why is that?
You know, I think, you know, when I heard the hook, honey, you are my shining star, don't you go away. It got me. And the reason it got me is because it was a hook line that everybody could sing. And then when Leo Graham sang the verse, it just blew me away because the verse was so simple, you know? And I think the guys, they didn't really dislike it at first. It just didn't bite them like it took a bite out of me. And I guess once I heard what I could do with that song, I knew what I could do with that song before I got to the studio. And I knew it so well until Leo and James Mack made me sing it higher. In other words, they made me sing it in a little uncomfortable key because when I was singing it, it was like, I was getting into it, but they wanted to have that feel that it has. They didn't want me to rumble with it like that. So they raised the key. So I was singing at the top of my range. It turned out to be a great song for us. We got a Grammy for it.
Yes, yes. I'm still waiting on mine. So when did Regina Belle audition for the Manhattans?
Oh God, that was 83. I think it was 83. Regina Belle. Now I got to tell you this story. We were auditioning young ladies to sing a song that we're recording called Don't Say No to Love. BJ Nelson recorded it with us originally. And BJ was playing with another rock band and they were going on tour. So she couldn't go on tour with us. So we auditioned several young ladies. And we had gotten down and found the lady that we thought was the lady. She had a beautiful voice. And Vaughn Harper, the late Vaughn Harper from WBLS in New York, called Blue and said, hey man, before you make a choice, I got somebody I want you to hear. And I'm bringing her by now. So we said, okay. He brought Regina to the studio and the band struck up Don't Say No to Love. Regina stuck that foot out there and threw her head back and she killed it. She killed it. She owned that song. That song was hers after that. And we had to tell the other young lady that
Go home. Go home.
we had to, but she understood, you know, she was a person, she knew the business.
Yeah.
And so she understood that she didn't particularly like it, but she understood.
Mhm.
She didn't speak to us about a week. And then after that,
So-
she worked in our office and she was with us about a week. And then she was good.
So
But Regina Belle, that's my sister. I love her dearly and she's still kicking it. And
Yeah,
I'm so happy for her success and just to watch her grow.
Yeah, because you not too long ago, a few years ago, did your first gospel CD, and you
Yeah.
collaborated with her.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. She killed that song. Oh, my God. I can see her singing. Oh,
Mm-hmm. She don't
oh,
play.
God. She
She
killed
don't
it.
play.
Yes.
Mhm.
She owned it. And I remember after she sang and she left, I said, Blue, Kenny said, Blue, me, Kenny, and Sonny said, Blue, that's the lady. That's the lady. And so, of course, we had to give Blue the part of
Mhm.
calling back to the office to tell the other young lady that she had just gotten beat out by Regina Belle. I don't even know if Regina even knew that.
Uh-huh.
She may not have never, I don't know if we even mentioned it to her what happened.
When you was in college, who was that? The Manhattans. This before you was got with the group, and the Manhattans and the Supremes were doing a show and it needed a sound system. So you
Oh,
set up
oh, oh.
sound
Let,
and
let,
you
let me
singing.
let me get this right here for you.
Okay.
I was going to Kittrell College, Kittrell Junior College, and the Manhattans was on tour with Gene Terrell and the Supremes. And they were on their way to Texas. And so they asked me, did I mind singing on the show, opening up? And after the show, they took my name, my address, and phone number, and they called me back on that Sunday. And that Monday morning, they flew me down to Dallas, Texas, and I watched the Manhattans perform with the Supremes for 10 days. And then I came back to New York, rehearsed for about 2 weeks, and we worked in the city in small places. But my very first major concert, I have to tell you, was with the Dells headlining, the Spinners, Brenda and the Tabulations, Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, Kool and the Gang, and a group called Willie Feaster and the Mighty Magnificents. And that's who I had to go out there on my first professional date, big professional date, and sing up and compete with. And but it was a great beginning, and a lot of us, those same artists that we worked with back then, we're still friends today.
That's what's up. After 16 years of singing with the Manhattans, you decided to go solo. Was it like a performance growth, or you had ideas that you wanted to do?
And when something you love becomes a job, it's time for a change. So out of nowhere, I walked in the meeting one day and told the guys that this is my last year, and I'll stay with you until you get someone. And I did my first solo project at Motown, and it was awesome, and I don't have any regrets, but I was still in the eyesight of my fans. I played Germany, I played England, I played France, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Scotland, and I was always the Manhattans. But that didn't bother me. Even we did South America, it was the same thing. I was always associated. Here's the lead singer of the Manhattans, or he used to sing lead or former lead. And a lot of places, they just announced me as the lead singer of the Manhattans. And I honor that. I wear that badge proudly. I wore it then proudly. And after a while, I realized that it would be nice to be back home. And so Al Goodman from Ray Goodman and Brown approached me. He said, this is you guys' 30th anniversary. Why don't you go back together and do a tour? So I called Blue. Blue instantly said yes. Sonny refused, and Kenny had started teaching, and he refused. So that's when we got Troy May and Dave Tyson, and we went back out there, and it was supposed to be 30 days, and now it's been 27 years.
Wow.
So with 3 albums.
Yeah. So Dave Tyson is Ron Tyson from the Temptations' brother.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Who was your musical influences?
My influence was my father, my Uncle Johnny, the late Johnny Fields, one of the founding members of the 5 Blind Boys of Alabama, and Sam Cooke.
So Sam Cooke, I guess that's why you decided to do that CD.
I did the Gerald Alston Sing Sam Cooke at that CD, and Sam Cooke's brother, the late L.C. Cooke, did the liner notes. And what I wanted to do, I'd always loved Sam Cooke. As a child, 14 to 15 years old, I used to have concerts in my grandmother's living room, all by myself. I put Sam Cooke on the record player, and I would sing every one of his songs. And L.C. told me before he passed, he said, Sam Cooke used to take popsicle sticks and stick them in the ground, and he sung to the popsicle sticks, you know.
Wow, but that was the people.
And that was a relationship. How did this happen like this? But at any rate, Sam Cooke was one of the greatest singers ever lived. He could sing anything, and all of his songs were for everybody, children, young adults, whatever genre of music you like. Sam Cooke could sing it for you because he could deliver it. He could tell a great story. And on top of all of that, the man could not sing, but sang. Mm-hmm. S-A-N-G.
Yeah, capital.
Truly a gift from God.
For real.
Yes.
So how, with the new CD, the new CD, latest CD, the Legacy Continues, how can your fans purchase the music and keep up with your tour dates? Because I know people still want to see you, because we do.
Well, they can go to our website, let's just kiss and say goodbye.com. And you can actually order the physical CD. And if you request an autograph, I'll sign it for you before I send it back to you. And it's on all the digital platforms for download. And you can also get physical product from CD Baby.
Did you hear that? The website is let's just kiss and say goodbye.com. All one word. And he said, you heard him say it. If you get the CD, he will send you his autograph on a blank check.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Ooh, boy, it'll bounce all over everywhere.
Just kiss your credit goodbye.
Yeah, that's it. See why you throw him under the bus like that? All up under the bus.
Oh. You know, it was a pleasure talking with you and getting information and things, because that's what we do. We try to find some of the greatest artists in our lifetime and get stories that we don't know and stay away from all the tabloid stuff. We just want musical facts and information. We really appreciate you, Gerald Alston, the Manhattans. We love you for life. We thank you for giving us what you gave us and continue giving us that.
Like this. Hi, this is DJ Lady Jock from Music My Way, and I have with me, but not with me, I will be interviewing today Mr. Gerald Alston from the Manhattans. It's a pleasure talking to you, sir.
Same here.
I finally get to see you because the last time you came to St. Louis, I did reach out to you. We were supposed to connect because you all came to the what is the place? Yeah, the Steeple. You was with the Dramatics and Ray Goodman and Brown.
Enchantment was where.
Oh yeah, and Enchantment was on that ticket too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was 4 groups on that ticket.
Yeah, we'd played previously, either the night before or something like that. We played in Maryville, Indiana, at the Star Plaza Theater, and the whole tour came to St. Louis.
Yeah, because me and you have been playing phone tag, but I talked to you, but I didn't get to meet you that night. I was excited, but it didn't happen. I said, well, he coming back. He gonna come back. But look, I see you now. So that's good enough for me.
He may be there soon. I don't want to say too much about it right now.
Okay.
And later on in the winter, we may be there.
I'll take that.
Yes.
I'll take that. My first question with you is, what city were you born in? What city and state you were born in?
I was born in Henderson, North Carolina. When you come to Henderson, if you were driving, you see it on the front of the sign say, "Welcome to Henderson." And if you turn around and look behind you, you'll see a sign say, "Just leaving Henderson." That's how big it was.
Oh, see, that sounds like I got family from Scuba, Mississippi. That's just exactly what you just said. That's just how small Scuba is.
Yeah.
That's where all our family from. It's like what you just said. You welcome and like 5 seconds, like turn around. Yeah, it's that small, but it's nothing there. But wow. So how far is that from the big city? What's that? What's the next big city there? Is that
city? It's 2 cities like parallel almost, and that's Raleigh, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Durham, North Carolina.
Wow.
And they're about 40 miles away. You know, and but it was, back then when I lived there, it was awesome because everybody knew each other. Everybody was like family, and we would sing it. We have we sang in church, and we had a church that the neighborhood kids that in my neighborhood all went there and go to Sunday school there, Bible school. But even though our families were members of different denominations, all the kids went there. And we would get in the choir and sing. It'd be 20 of us up there trying to sing in the choir. But it was just a whole feel. And that's where it all started for me. Just in Henderson, North Carolina, singing against my friends and, cousins. And here it is.
I was going to ask you, how did you get into singing? How did you start singing? How did you know you were going to be this singer?
Well, actually, when I started college, I wanted to go to school to be a heart specialist. But by God's grace, that wasn't what he had in mind for me. And I met the Manhattans, and I wouldn't tell anybody else to do this, but I dropped all my college books and went to sing with the Manhattans because to me, it was a chance of a lifetime. And I joined the group and I never looked back. It was a wonderful opportunity. But I wouldn't, I would advise anybody who's going to get in the industry to learn the business, get your college education, or get you some kind of degree so that, you always have a way. You always have a way. You can sing all the time. And if you want to do something else, you're able to do it because this business is up and down, up and down, up and down. And you have to be prepared for it.
Yes, sir. Those are some true words right there. Because I've seen some that they're back working again, actually. And I'm just like, wow, you had this big career and it's like, it's a wrap. So it could have been bad management, we just never know. But
and so many artists today, back then, they felt like if I got my first record was a million seller, they thought evidently they was getting $1 million. And they'd go buy cars and houses and
Yep.
You living it up. And then when they don't have another hit record, and then mortgage is $5,000 a month, oops, I got to sell the house, got to go, you know. So
Yep.
I've always learned from the ups and downs with the Manhattans. I've learned to live under, not above, over and above, on the edge. I learned to live under what I was making, you know. And then when as things got better, I respected it, and I knew how to take care of myself. I knew how to preserve my money, save my money, and take care of myself. And I never had to say, oh God, I got to sell my car. I got to pawn my ring, you know. And I feel sorry for people who have to do that. But if you don't have that knowledge, that understanding, that's exactly what will happen.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Is it true that you're related to one of the blind boys of Alabama?
Yes, my uncle Johnny Fields. He's one
Wow.
of the founding members, the late Johnny
Wow.
Fields.
Wow. That's all I used to hear in my grandma's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before, now this story, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't get a chance to tell you, but when I joined the Manhattans, prior to that, I was home. And before I was still in school. And my uncle asked me, how would you like for me to submit you to sing lead for the Soul Stirrers? And I said, great. And he submitted my name. And I just blew me away. The day that my parents, I was underage, the day that my mother and father signed for me to sing with Manhattans, like a day after, the Soul Stirrers wanted me to sing with them, and I couldn't accept. And but I did get a chance. Huh?
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I did get a chance to be a part of one of a situation where I sang with this, well, actually with the Soul Stirrers, the Highway QCs, Aretha Franklin, Lou Rawls. Oh God, it was Elvis, what's it called? Elvis Costello, Sissy Houston. We did a tribute to Sam Cooke at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it was awesome.
So this group, you say the Soul Stirrers, this wasn't the group as a teenager that you put together. Was like the gospel group when you?
No, the gospel group, the Soul Stirrers was the gospel group that Sam Cooke sung with. And
okay.
That's who I was auditioning. My uncle had submitted me to sing with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you ever create your own gospel group as a teenager when you were?
Yeah, when I was singing, when I was in high school, my band was Gerald Alston and the New Imperials on Friday night and Saturday night. On Sunday morning, we were the Gospel Jubilee. And we would go from church to church because they had a lot of programs. You know how the programs in the South, church programs. We just go sit in the back of the church. Sometimes we didn't ask for money, we didn't ask for anything. We just go sit in the church because we loved it, and they'll call us up to sing, and we just thrill ourselves with singing gospel.
And that leads me up to this question, because you kind of talked about it, because I was going to ask you, how did you hook up with the group, the Manhattans? Or how did they find you? I know you was in college.
Yeah. As I said earlier, they were on tour with the Supremes. And they were doing pickup dates going on their way to Texas. And my professor asked me this particular day, I didn't even know the Manhattans were coming there. She said, can the Manhattans use your sound system? And I said, yes. So I went and set it up and I started singing, when we get married, we'll have a big celebration. Yes. And they walked in, they heard me singing, and the expression on their faces was like, and Rich even said it, this is a godsend. And unfortunately, their lead singer was very ill at the time. And Blue's cousin was traveling with them, to stand in with their original lead singer, Philip Terrell. His name is Philip Flood, but Terrell was his stage name. But anyway, I sang on the show, I sang that song. and they asked me to for my number and address. And that Sunday, the manager finally reached me after calling all weekend. My grandmother said, "This lady's calling you, and I need you to stay home because I want to find out who this woman is because she sounds like she's older than you." So you know where that was going. So anyway, I stayed home, and the manager called me and told me that my parents had already signed for me to sing with the group, and that I had a round trip ticket to Dallas, Texas. And I flew to Dallas, and the rest is history.
There was. I'm not gonna hold up too much of your time because I know you got something to do. But Shiny Star song, I know you talked about it. Paul Richmond.
All Richmond.
I met Paul a couple of years ago. Of course, everybody knows Daddy, my daddy. You know Daddy.
Yeah.
He was at the time he was singing with the playing with the Independents.
Yes.
And he told me he wrote that song. Him and another guy or just him?
Leo Graham.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul and Leo Graham.
Okay. Because he's just not, he said he's just not getting a plaque or something for it. He's been showing it all on the social media.
This is another part of the business that is very disturbing to me. He just getting a plaque for 10 million records.
Yep.
He should have got it a long time ago. Paul and Leo was not treated right.
Wow.
Was not treated right. They deserve more than what they got.
Ooh, that sums it up. Yeah, I keep in touch with Paul, on social media, him and his wife. So good guy.
Yeah, I got to call him back because the last time we did, I did an interview. He did an interview, and I surprised him. And I was supposed to call him back.
Oh.
He got some songs for me. So
okay.
I got to get on the line with him and see what he got.
Oh yeah, because he sent me something he did. I guess he's doing like some blues stuff. It was pretty good. So I want to appreciate you because I think once when my dad got sick, you guys all reached out. I mean, it was so many calls coming in. You guys, I thank you. You all said he was the man because he did a lot of good things for you guys. So I appreciate it because I remember y'all call.
But I
mean, everybody was answering the phone, but
right.
But I appreciate it. I had to tell you that personally because you all call and you all say he did so much for you guys, playing your records and everything. So I had to thank you.
And it's well appreciated.
Thank you.
This very day is well appreciated because that's the reason, part of the reason why we're where we are now.
Well, that's going to sum it up for me because I don't want to hold you up long because I know you got something to do, but I appreciate this and I'm going to sign off like this. This is DJ Lady Jock signing off with Gerald Alston of the Manhattans here on Music My Way on 88.1 KDHX.